Welcome into the Wednesday episode of the David Hookstead Show. Happy to have you all here as always. We've got some fun stuff today we're going to talk about right off the bat. I don't know how many of you saw the Associated Press report that Stacey Abrams, who is the failed governor, the failed candidate to be the governor of Georgia back in 2018, lost to Brian Kemp, her net worth has increased 29 times over since losing that election. Now, allow me to repeat that for you. Her net worth, after losing an election, the only thing she's notable for, went and increased by 29 times over. She 29x'd her overall net worth. I'm going to read this directly from the Associated Press, okay? When Democrat Stacey Abrams first ran for Georgia governor in 2018, her lackluster personal finances and a hefty bill from the IRS gave Republicans fodder to question how she could manage a state budget when she struggled with her own debt. As she launches a second bid this year, that's no longer an issue. Abrams is now worth $3.17 million, according to state disclosures filed in March. That's compared to a net worth of $109,000 when she first ran 4 years ago. Then it says along the way, so this that goes into how she made the money. Along the way, she earned $6 million, mostly driven by $5 million in payments for books and speeches. Okay, folks, I hope you all recognize the grift of all grifts that has now been Stacey Abrams' personal finances. These people on the left, far left individuals, people on the fringe of the left movement, they want you to believe America is a horrific, racist, oppressive, terrible nation to live in. But I would ask you this: is there any other nation in the world, and I mean this seriously, where your most notable accomplishment is losing something, okay? Stacey Abrams before that, I believe, was the the Georgia state minority leader in like their House of Delegates or whatever it's called there. Not really noteworthy whatsoever. That's not something that brings national attention. Certainly not something you make millions of dollars for. So she loses an election. That's her most noteworthy accomplishment. She 29x's her net worth. Is there any nation on the planet where you can lose, be known as a loser, and 29x your net worth from $109,000 to $3.17 million in just a few short years? The answer to that is, of course, no. And how did she do it? Well, she did it by convincing people, by getting paid speeches, by selling books, convincing you that this country is so awful and so terrible and that it screwed her over and she should have been the governor in 2018. She made a killing. She made more money in 4 years than the average American will make in a lifetime by convincing people that America is a terrible place. Now, how does that make any sense? How can America be such a terrible place when it made her so unbelievably rich without accomplishing anything? It makes sense if you're the president or a high-profile senator or a high-profile governor. When you retire, you write some books. That happens all the time. Every president except Jimmy Carter has made a killing after their presidency in speeches, books, documentaries, all that stuff. That makes a hell of a lot of sense because being president is an incredible accomplishment. Being senator is a lesser accomplishment, but still impressive. Being governor, depending on who you are, is a big accomplishment. Stacey Abrams didn't do any of that, and she 29x'd her net worth, and at the same time wants you to believe that America is an oppressive, terrible place. How can those two things possibly be true? She grifted her way to $3.17 million by selling people on a lie. Okay, let's call it what it is, selling people on a lie. She absolutely lost the 2018 election. This country is not oppressive or racist or terrible at all. And she made millions and millions and millions of dollars in just a few short years by convincing people, by convincing idiots essentially, that that's how terrible this country is. And meanwhile, she was counting the money all the way to the bank. If this country was as bad as people on the fringe want you to believe it is, a failed gubernatorial candidate could never make 29x her net worth in just a few years. But in America, where we believe in capitalism, you can grift your way to millionaire status by using capitalism to sell books and paid speeches and at the same time convince people, and I don't know if she believes it or not in her heart, but convince people that this country is a racist, oppressive, terrible place to live. I mean, I almost respect it because in order to make, she said, made $6 million according to the Associated Press. In order to make $6 million off this grift, you really got to commit to it. You really have to go all in that this country is a horrific, terrible place, and then behind the scenes, stack cash, make a shitload of money, and still be able to look yourself in the mirror and sleep easy at night knowing the grift you're selling is complete BS. I mean, let me know what you think. To me, it's absolutely it's nothing short of shameful, and I hope I've opened the eyes to some of her followers and some of her believers. You are padding her pockets, and I'm the most pro-capitalist person you'll ever meet. I love money. I think money's amazing. I will chase money along with other things that make me happy to the end of the day. You know, there's nothing wrong with being rich. And I'm not saying I'm rich. That's not the case at all. But there's nothing wrong with chasing money. But I don't pretend to hate capitalism. I don't pretend to hate America. I don't pretend that this country keeps me down, et cetera, et cetera. And then on the back end, behind the curtains, behind closed doors, get rich. Stacey Abrams did. She's one of the biggest capitalists in the country. She loves making money. She just doesn't want anyone to know that. So shame on her for, the way she got her cash by this whole grift. Not shame on her for getting rich. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with putting a few millions in the bank. But shame on her for essentially convincing people that this country is awful and then getting rich off of her essentially dumbass, gullible followers. Next, LeBron James and the Lakers have officially been eliminated from playoff contention. And I can't say I'm really sad. Not at all. Look, LeBron James is the biggest prima donna we've ever seen. Whenever he opens his mouth, something dumb generally comes out. You know, he doxed a police officer in Ohio who shot someone to save a young girl that was going to be stabbed. He has sided with the Chinese government against Daryl Morey when the Hong Kong stuff went down. He refuses to criticize the CCP, and yet he'll criticize Kyle Rittenhouse, but he won't criticize the dictatorship in China carrying out a genocide against the Uyghurs. Really makes you think, makes you wonder whose side he's on. And now he's been eliminated from playoff contention. Look, LeBron James is not a hero. He is not a remarkably intelligent individual. He is not an individual that is going to make a major impact off of a basketball court. Now, he's a great basketball player, but he's not someone that's going to change the world off a basketball court. I think we've been very obvious about that. He has no idea what he's talking about most of the time. It is what it is, and now he won't be in the playoffs. It's one of the most stunning fall from graces we've ever seen in professional sports. The Lakers really truly believed that they were going to win the NBA title this year, and now they're, I believe, 31-48, 17 games under 500. They're not even going to make the postseason. It's embarrassing. Maybe LeBron should spend a little more time in the gym, a little more time practicing, a little more time improving his game so that he can win, and a little less time being a jackass on social media and weighing in on topics he doesn't know anything about. I'm not going to shed any tears that LeBron James' career is going down the tubes, and the Lakers had one of their worst years in recent memory. Finally, some NASA scientists are reportedly going to attempt to contact any aliens that might be out in space. They're going to try to send a message up there. They're going to see if any intelligent life form returns it. I'm not really sure on the specifics of how they're going to do that, but I will tell you this. Do we really want to be contacting aliens? Is that a smart idea? Is contacting whatever might be out there, is that really what we want to do? Because my biggest concern with that is, what if they're hostile? What if this backfires in a big way? Right now, maybe they're leaving us alone. They're just chilling out in the galaxy doing alien stuff, right? They're not being bothered by us. We're not, they're not bothering us. We're not bothering them. If we shoot a message up to them, who knows how they're going to take that? Maybe they think we're hostile actors and they say, hey, we got to come down to earth and deal with these motherfuckers. I don't know what aliens are like. I don't even know if aliens exist, but I know this. If they do, God put them away from us for a reason. Okay? If God wanted us rubbing elbows with the aliens, they'd be right here on earth, but he didn't. He put them out there in the universe if they even exist at all. So maybe we should think twice about what the unintended consequences might be if we start firing messages off to old aliens in outer space. Let me know what you think, if we should contact the aliens or not. Anyways, that's all we have for the Wednesday episode of The David Hookstead Show. Make sure to tune in Thursday for the last regular one of the week, and I'll see you then.